Hi, everyone. I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, honey, but through our own lens, which can be a little peppery, a little salty, definitely a little spicy. I mean, come on. But at the end of the day, hopefully, if we try mildly a little bit at the end, dessert wise, sweet. Hi, we're pumped to give you, honeys, and we didn't even realize we were going to give it to you, but here we are. We're pumped to give you the season finale of Love During Lockup or Love After Lockup, as we will. I know this episode's called Love Obsessed, and I don't even know what number it is. It was like season 4, episode 30. Let's just say that. Or season 2, episode 9. I mean, who knows? But the point of the story is it was the finale of this. It's called Love Obsessed. And we also got, the prerequisite, like, where are they now kind of thing. So we have a juicy ep to discuss. Now we're also on the road. So for our Patreon peeps, will be in and out of video as she deals with hotel Wi-Fi. We all know that life. So we give her like props for, being on the road and doing the thing, doing the damn thing. Are you having fun in Vegas? Have you won anything, Wa?
No, I'm not planning on gambling or doing anything like that. Like, I'm here just for a very specific reason. And then I'm going to actually try to get my flight back home earlier. I don't know. I'm staying at the Rio and it was the wrong choice. It was the wrong choice.
Oh, is your whole
Yeah.
bit? Did you have to stay there? Everyone's staying there?
No, I asked where everyone was staying, and everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know." And then because of that, like I don't live in I don't know. Like I live in like, hey, let's do this thing, make a choice, and like move on.
Hmm.
So I needed to make a choice, and since the event is at the Rio, I just was like, "Oh, I'll just get a
Oh,
hotel at the Rio then," because that makes the
yeah.
most sense. And then I realized, then like yesterday, or like I don't know, Tuesday I asked like where everybody was staying, and then they were like, "Oh, my sister was like, I'm staying at my friend's house. My brother, I think he said Mandalay Bay, and then my parents are
Ooh.
staying at the Palms." So like, you know,
You know what?
I
God
just
bless. God bless your brother's wife, because I know that Kenya put in hard for that Mandalay Bay girl, and I hope she's enjoying the hammam there. I really do.
I mean, I just don't know anything about Vegas, and they go
Why didn't
all
you
the
ask
time.
me?
Oh, because I don't want to make you the man. I'm not
I
good
know,
at
but
doing research. So like sometimes like I ask, and not just you. You're not the only person, because it's like a trait throughout my life. I ask people advice on what I should do, and they get kind of upset and are like, "You should Google it," or "I don't know," and they don't want to be responsible. And I'm not saying you. It's a lot of people, so I know it's a problem. So sometimes like when I ask and people are just like, "Oh, I don't know," or like, and I'm like, okay, well, they don't want to tell me, they don't want to be involved, so I just have to do what I can. But don't worry, I'm getting better at it.
honestly, the thing I'm worried about most is that you're not gonna play any Buffalo Gold. That's it's hard hitting for me. So, is there no Buffalo Gold there?
No,
Buffalo.
there's tons of it. I see it and I want to sit down, and I'm just like, I'm too stressed, spending all the money to get stuff for my apartment and spending money to fly out here and then to stay. Like, normally when I travel, my job pays for it. And so when I had to pay for it all out of my pocket, I was like, oh, I don't like this.
No, I get that.
So yeah, it was just I'm taking Spirit back home, guys. Don't tell
No.
anybody. Yeah, it was the only flight. I tried so hard to get another flight out. And so now I'm just like, well, maybe if I call and just see, and like just like I don't want to take Spirit home. Like, I'm staying in the Rio, and this like I want to show you guys a picture of this rug. It's brown, and it's definitely giving like a vibe of fake 70s. I mean, it's not shag, but it's brown, and it's like I'm like, ooh, this carpet has seen some action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's brown for a reason, honey. They don't have to clean it. But yeah, I know you are probably just not walking on anything a bit. There's just like 5 pairs of socks on each feet. Like I know your skin's not touching anything. But
Right.
I know you.
I
So
have hotel slippers. Like, don't I have hotel slippers.
honey, I know you do. Honey, I know you do. Okay, so having said that, for our listeners, we also dropped episode 1 of the Harry and Meghan docu-series that's on Netflix. And that's happening. That's already on our feed because Wa like learned Audacity to give it to you super fast. So God bless. Look at her just like living in the lap of non-luxury. Just kidding. staying in the lap of non-luxury, but also giving the people what they need. So thank you, Wa.
I mean, apparently, I don't. I should look. I don't. I should look to see how it's doing. Because
I did.
oh, is it doing well?
Hmm.
No.
Okay. So let's get into this. Okay. Do you have a couple you want to start with?
No. Let's just go in the order that we
I wrote the
saw
notes.
initially, and that was Justine and Mike.
Yeah. By the way, just interesting, by the way, that, obviously, as we said, there they are. As we said, we're going to go through the couples. This is the season finale. And at the end, they give this little like wrap up. They didn't even care to give us one more morsel of Emily and Dory. They were like, we know we did it. We're sorry. Like they not even like one scene of her, like, I mean, nothing. Anyway, but they obviously gave us a little like word wrap up, but like basically over nothing. So let's get into Justine and Michael. So it's now one day to his release, and she's very excited. Now her choices, her fashion choices this episode revolve around really just two onesie bodysuits. Now it's day and night. Now the first one day, the one that we see her in the opening scene, is a cloudy blue, like Care Bear onesie. It's short, and her body's banging. Now in this scene, and she's also wearing, by the way, like a bedazzled chain that says Juju on it. Her name is Justine. So she is like so excited. He calls her. She jumps in bed. There's like a huge picture of him by the bed. Now, of course, last time they got into a fight because she's been snooping and like figuring out whether the car that he gave her is like a legal situation for her to drive, and she told him about that, and he was like upset and hung up. So now like they apologize and they're cool. Wow.
I mean, yeah. So he also bought her that chain too. That's something I remember from the last episode that he made mention, that he bought her that Juju chain. And so, like, the funniest thing that happens is that she's like, "I'm really nervous for Mike to come out." That's my Melissa voice. Oh, I can hear it, but I can't mimic it right now. I'm really nervous for Mike because we've been waiting for so long. And then the phone rings and she becomes a ninja. She like literally backflips over a cameraman
Yes.
and like just trampolines onto her bed to answer the phone. And I thought to myself, girl, if you were gonna break your neck to get to that phone, why didn't you just plug it into the wall next to you?
Is there something that happens where like sometimes they call, but oh no, they can't call, so they'd hang up really fast, or she's excited for her man, I guess. But she jumped in this bed, honey, like she's like 13, and they're like Harry Styles on the phone. She's like, yay! She just, I mean,
She,
yeah,
she does one of those like trampoline, like when you're in the gym, like when gymnasts are like running, they run, and then they jump on that bar, and then they do like a flip over the bar, and they flip and they land with their hands
yes,
up in the air. Like it was like that to me.
yeah,
It was like, yeah,
yeah. She stuck the landing.
yeah.
Um,
She's like,
this,
hello, and she answers the phone as though she didn't just do that. Hi.
yeah, she
You
does a
still
good job.
mad at me? I love you. And he's like, no, you're perfect. And she's like, say it again. And I'm like, so happy for her. Like, I'm happy that
So
she,
happy.
after like 3 baby daddies, has found this drug dealer to take care of her and buy her chains and cars. Like, you know what? I'm happy for her in a way that I will never be happy for Meghan Markle and Harry.
Okay, because you feel like it's a more like it's just like, okay, yes, you got what you wanted in the end, which is like some guy to love you and take care of you, but it just seems like it's a little more feasible than Meghan Markle's like, I put a dog filter on a video and my friend posted it, and I don't know, the Prince of England saw it, and now we're in love.
Yeah, look at our love. Shut up, fucking stupid bitch. Anyways,
I'm just dead.
I gotta
Also,
finish watching it. I gotta finish watching
wait, what?
it. I said I gotta finish watching it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just like, Wa feels like, honey, when you can't see her face, she can say whatever she wants is this gray dot. Okay, so anyway, like, Justine's like a little bit worrying about how the parenting's gonna go. She has 3 kids, he has kids. She like, I don't, she's like basically wants him to tell her like what's the custody agreement and like what's your baby mama's gonna be like. And he only basically is like, well, they're gonna have to listen, and now you're on top of the totem pole. And she like seems okay with that, but it just seemed like, well, is that what you're asking? Like top of the totem pole? Well, like, does that mean okay, great? And I kind of would assume so because I'm like your wife now. Like, God bless in the sense of like how priorities go. But at the same time, like, is it I'm gonna be picking up all the kids, and what's the energy I'm gonna get on the other side?
Well, I mean, think about it because he has to deal the same thing with her exes too, right? So I think as a baby mama, she understands like what being a baby mama is, right? So the top of the totem pole just means that like you are my number one, but he still has to take care of his baby mamas to a certain extent. He still has to like be nice to them and whatever the kids need, he needs to provide. You know, so he has to have a relationship with them. Because I think he has like 4 kids. So let's assume there's at minimum 2 baby mamas and at max 4. So, and at some point, like he probably, I don't know how many of them he actually loved, and some of them he actually just dropped, busted up the club and then walked away. But I think, and the same thing with Justine, like she has 3 baby daddies. I mean, listen, I don't know that she has 3 baby daddies, but her kids look all distinctly different. That oldest one definitely doesn't share a father with the other 2. The oldest one is like her father's white or like a light Latino or something. And so like Justine also has to deal with them. So I mean, like thinking about, and she wants to have more kids. Like so, they already are going to have a family of 7. What is that math? 4 and 3, 7 kids,
Yeah.
and then like whatever kid she's going to have with
A
Mike,
girl.
a
She makes
girl.
very she wants a baby girl.
Yeah, but like also, if she doesn't get a baby girl, she's gonna try. If she gets a boy, she's gonna try for a girl. She's gonna keep trying until she gets a girl. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, like so, there's a lot that their family is about to go through, and I thought that was pretty responsible of her to have this conversation with them, at least on camera, so that we can see that she isn't a total crazy person. Because I don't know about you, but for whatever reason, I don't. As much as I was like, oh, Justine gets on my nerves. I don't see her situation as crazy as some of the other ones. And maybe it's because we're picking up on it when he only had 60 days left, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that really, really helps. Also, what really helps is that for some reason he can provide way more for her. Everyone else, they have to provide for this is what it's the difference is. All the other women on here, we're dealing with their storylines being with someone who's an addict, who doesn't have teeth, who's going to come out and have to build a life again. But
Yeah.
for some reason, Justine's storyline is she's dating a street mogul who does things, honey. You know what I'm saying? And we don't we yes, he sold drugs, but he's not an addict. So there's like something, and he has money, there's money there, and so it's like the balance is different, right? We don't feel like she's throwing her life and her kids away for this. Now, I'm not saying she's perhaps making some decisions to get herself involved in something that might be nefarious down the line. I'm not saying I'd make all the same decisions as her, but doesn't that seem the difference? Like, listen, yeah, like with Justine and Jessica, like Jessica, every moment of Jessica's storyline after a certain point, I was like, absolutely not. Get this woman away. What are you doing? Like, but it's not so much with Justine. We're like, oh, he can take care of you. He's gonna
Yeah.
have that fancy car. So anyway, okay, so yes, so she has this conversation with her kids, as we said. They have the 3 kids. She has one son who's like, okay, okay. So she's like, I'm sorry, I want to have one more kid, and I want it to be a girl. So her oldest daughter's like, really? And she's like, yeah, sorry, you're leaving. I like need more girl time. And she's like, I'm kind of like sad that my mom wants to like, move on. And we're like, well, girl, you're like old. The little boy
Wait,
is
wait.
like, mommy. Yeah.
Wait. Can I say this? Did
Yes.
you, when she's like, well, you're going to college in a few months, did you kind of notice the girl like look away when she said that, as though like that is not true? Like, there was like a chance to her and she like looks to the left, like, what?
Oh.
That is what I saw. I was like, why do people pretend like their kids are going to college? Like, don't like, is that girl going to college, Justine? Or is she just gonna go to like, is she leave? What I'm saying is not, is she leaving to go to a college, or is she, or like a next level university, or is she just gonna like take classes at the local like JC and live at home still? You know what I'm saying? I was like,
I do know what you're saying, and it's an astute. I didn't pick up on it personally, but I see what you're saying. Listen, I hope the girl. Listen, higher education is a great thing, and I don't know, but
but you don't
Justine,
have to do it. And so I think it's so weird when sometimes people want folks to think that they have done well raising their kids, or that their
yeah,
kids are so smart that they're going to go to college. I'm like, you don't need to do. We live in a time now that's a where like having a degree is great and it helps in very certain businesses and like business lines and jobs, but it doesn't always. Those of us who like went to school to get a degree like in arts and like whatever, we're not we're not we studied art. Like we're not scholars. And it doesn't necessarily lend to how much you make now. I don't know. That's just what I'm seeing in the world these days as an HR professional. Like I hate telling people that I have a degree. I'd rather tell them I don't, because when they're like, "Oh, what in?" I'm like, first of all, it was 20 years ago, and second of all, it was in theater. So like what? What do you want from me? I don't know anything. Like,
I understand what you're saying, especially in the comes of making money, but I do know things because we are scholars of theater. I mean, we know playwrights. Okay, so God bless. Uh, Honey Mamet, Honey Williams, Honey Chekhov. Okay, fine.
Tartuffe. I mean, sorry, we know
Moliere,
prose, Moliere, and stuff like that.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so you don't think I know a French fucking farce, honey? What? Okay, but
Arte.
I am a cutting maid. That's all I am. So having said all that, yeah, I didn't notice that part. That part's funny, but yeah, obviously I also like was really cute when the little boy's like, "But mommy, can I sleep in your bed one more time?" And she's like, "Okay, but you really got to get over this, especially because what I'm trying to tell you all is tomorrow there'll be a grown ass man here, space taken up by a grown big man sitting here at the couch in mommy's bed, a man. So just like prepare your lives, prepare your eyes for a big man here tomorrow, you know?"
Yep.
Yeah. So after that conversation happens, and then the kids are like, okay, and she does wake up the next morning, and the kid was in the bed, and I felt good about that. She probably cuddled him really, really good. It's really early in the morning, and she has a phone call with Michael's mom, who's basically like, I can't even like fathom what's happening. I can't wait to see him. She has to wake up early and drive to go get him, like obviously early in the morning. Now what we get is two things: a shot of her walking out, she's wearing like a bananas outfit, into a car that we know isn't the car of the season, which is her gift car from the wedding, which is obviously the Mercedes. We're like, what the hell kind of car is this, and where did this car come from? Then it gets all of these like shots of beautiful fall foliage, and she's like driving up in this fancy ass car to go get him. Yeah, and then we get to hear that it's his car because again, he's like a mogul, street mogul, that he's had this fancy ass 6-figure car for 6 years since he's been just in prison, and it's just been sitting at his cousin's house. So she gets that car and drives, honey, like up like Michelle fucking Pfeiffer. I mean, black cat suit, zip onesie, you know what I'm saying? She literally goes and picks up Batman, like hot girl Batman pickup. I loved
She looks
it.
great. She looks absolutely fantastic.
She knows it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, that it's that Fashion Nova body, and I'm like, good for you. Like, I want to know, like, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? Like, it's all in the right spots. Good for her. And like, and also, if I ever find out that he paid for her to get like some kind of liposuction, he will be number one in my book.
Oh,
Like if he's like, yeah, babe, go on ahead and get your tummy flat. Ah,
I know.
man to get me.
Yeah, you need that. You need that. Like I do too. There's like whatever. It's just the mentality of whatever my woman wants. I got her.
Yeah,
And it's there's different cultures in which and communities in which that kind of like mindset exists, right?
yeah,
Like obviously he's like, they're in Pennsylvania. So like, he's like a rapper, like dealer, from like Pennsylvania. But it's like that kind of mentality is like that like mafia mentality, he could, if they were like Italians, it'd be the exact same thing. Like everything we're seeing from their relationship, it's funny to me because I'm like, she could be wearing like furs, you know what I'm saying? And driving around a fancy car, it's just like, it's just like this kind of old school, old like traditional, mm, yeah, just like it feels like 1940s style, like
you know,
gender. What?
I think because he must take care of his mother too, right? I feel like sometimes you have situations where people see their parents go through things, and then it activates whatever in them that's already kind of innate in them to be that kind of caregiver and to be that all-encompassing person and to go out there and like do that. And I think that that's rare. I think like maybe Hollywood has like glamorized it, but I don't think it's like there are more Marks in the world. Uh, there are more like, men who are in prison and who can't figure it out, and then Marks who are like awkward and like manage to find somebody just because of like familial ties, but are like good with money. You know what I mean? Like there's it takes all kinds, right? But I think that it's a very specific macho guy that gets romanticized. That, and again, I always say it's always detrimental to women, because when we don't get that, we're like confused.
Yeah, we are confused. So let's talk about, basically this is what happens. So they've set up their reunion, right? This whole time he gets out, she looks hot, it's the car, God bless. So she gets out of the car, and she's like parked up, she's like, I think he's coming. And then she's like, I think I see him. And then for each couple now we're gonna get the catch up. So then we learn in graphics that Justine and Michael will be on the next season. Oh my God, what? Of Love during Lockup. No, wait, Love after Lockup, because now it's literally after he got out. And so instead of actually giving us them meeting, we see his feetsies walk up, not his face, kind of like a soundbite of like, oh shit, or oh fuck, whatever it is. And then her walking up and then like out. To be continued.
Here, let me try to show you this. This is what Justine put on her Instagram, and Rewatch Reality redid it. And so let me put up my camera.
Want me to put it up? Okay.
Okay. Oh, well, you know what? Should I send it to you?
Wait. Oh, it's not. What's here?
Should I send it to you?
Oh, that's Michael Johnson. Yeah, you can send it to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Who knows when it's gonna get to it. But I didn't get to see that part because I watched it on YouTube and it shut off right when she got out of the Batman car.
The Batman car was so funny. Well, like, I don't know what it was, just like, it just like made me like, it was, I don't know what it is. There's a lot of scenes that happen that in this episode where I'm like, oh, this is so forced. This is so forced. And it's interesting what annoys me and what doesn't. That didn't annoy me.
Did you get it?
Yeah. Here, wait 1 second. I'm just uploading it.
Oh no, just asking.
Yeah. No, yeah. The answer is yes. Is it December 3rd? No, that's not what this is. God damn.
I can't believe I have to get there on Spirit. Like, and Spirit is so like I've never taken it, right? And it basically Expedia marketed to me as the only flight that was leaving Vegas to Minneapolis. And so I'm like, that can't be possible, but like whatever. And so then I book it, right? And then they're like, hey, check your bags, like keep emailing me. And I'm like, why do I need to check my bag? And then I was talking to somebody else and telling them they kept emailing me. And he's like, no, go check your bag, because if you go there without checking your bag prior to, checking your bag will cost you $100. And I was like, what? And he's like, no, like that's where they get you, because nobody else makes you do that. So they'll charge you $100. Like, so it's cheaper if you do it prior to. So I'm like, okay. So then I was like doing it, and then they're like, oh, pick your seat. And I'm like, and then like, they're like, this seat is $66. This seat is $33. And I was like, wait a minute. I already bought a ticket, and my ticket doesn't include a seat. And then it's like, yeah, if you don't pick your seat, then we're just going to put you wherever randomly. And then like, so all the ones they allow you to choose that are like ideal are more money. So I ended up having to pay an extra $128 just to get my bag checked, and to because they don't allow bags, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, they nickel and dime you. They are nickeling.
Oh, there we go. So this is the picture that Justine put up of them. And okay, Mike is cute.
Oh, Mike is hot.
Like, I wanted to say that because I had been talking about how like I didn't think he was hot and he cute or whatever. But like, yeah, I wanted to just apologize and say this man is fine.
Can you imagine this man giving you all that stuff? Okay, let's read what she said. Welcome home, Michael. I told you the first time I seen you. that I'd wait for you. I went 1,157 days strong, loyal, and right by your side. You have me forever, my love. No need to worry. I missed you terribly. There were many nights I cried myself to sleep, and now I sleep wrapped in your arms. We made it, babe. We did everything they said we couldn't. Here's to the next chapter of love, blessings, and whatever else comes along. I love you, Big Daddy. Welcome home, Montana Mills. And then he says, um, I love you so much, baby girl. Thank you for being the greatest person to walk into my life. You have no idea how many times I thank God for bringing us together. Or your mom. Tee hee hee. I'm a strong man, but I'm weak without you. Ugh, I love you, Queen. That last part. That last part. Wow.
Yeah. I'm a strong man, but I'm weak without you. I love you, Queen. Okay, now we're starting to see how he might be a rapper. You know, like he's good at words.
He's also hot, hot, hottie, hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, but the problem is that the way this person knows how to make it is a dangerous way. You know, this is not a hot, hot lawyer. You know,
I
this is
know it. I
not
know
a
it.
hot, like, you know, he's a businessman of the streets, you know what I'm saying? But this is not like a hot, hot, you know, a talent agent or a hot, hot, like sports agent or music, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I 100%.
who, if he is going to be a rapper, is going to be out on the road doing whatever. So Justine's going to be home alone a lot. Or, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
The funny thing is, I totally get what you're saying, but it's like, you know how there's some people who like, okay, Dave East is obviously a rapper and he's gorgeous, right? Like model gorgeous. But you're like, no, totally keep rapping, but also like you could, you know, like, you know, literally Fendi could or whatever. Like there could be houses of fashion that's gonna like pluck you and use you. You know what I'm saying? You're hot as you know, you're facially gifted. He's tall and facially gifted. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like he could, you know, if he ascertained a certain amount of name for himself in the rap world, he could very much like sell products. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
you're
or
right.
not
And
fentanyl products.
I
Like
hope that he would do it. He should be an influencer, right? We need to tell him. We need to
he's
DM
hot.
him and tell. We need to DM Montana Mills and tell him, listen, look, this is what we've decided. You can't go back to prison, okay? And we need to spend as much time with Justine as possible and them 17 kids. So go on ahead and just become an influencer. Start with
Other
Tommy T and go from there.
yeah, remember the hot felon that everyone was obsessed with for like a hot ass second? That really hot guy that was like a model for a second. I think he married some like rich heiress and had a
Yeah. Yeah, they're still together, I think.
isn't like listen, it works. Listen, why were they if they okay, first of all, could you imagine if he ever got on an episode of Love after or whatever Lockup? It would be the happiest moment of my life.
It would
Anyway,
be great.
should we move on to another couple or should we do 30 minutes on one? Okay, so the next one is Chelsea. We never like ever cared about Chelsea enough to really get a picture of her. So it's Chelsea and Mikey, and let's talk about it.
Okay, so with this episode with Chelsea and Mikey, we've got Chelsea getting ready in the morning with her son Trevor, who now I realize is biracial. And I know why you guys are like, why is she always caring about race? Because it's important to me. I live in America and I'm Black. And so this child is
Laughing at her, you know.
this child is like getting ready with the mom, and he's like, oh, I really hope that I could meet Mikey. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean, Chelsea, you don't know? We all know that this child is not. This whole scene was like set up and fake.
Mm-hmm.
So they get into the car and they go to start driving there. They get there. The guard tells them no, that the boy can't come. And so she's like, but there's a park around the corner. And so just for a moment, we all think that Chelsea's going to be the worst mom on the face of this planet and go and find that park and drop that little kid off and just go back to the prison. But it turns out she happens to have a friend at that park fucking waiting right there for the son so that they could play baseball. And then she takes her happy ass back to the prison and sees Mikey, and I guess it's great. And then she takes her son to the drive-in during the day. Chris?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what do you you're gonna wait, you're gonna leave your son right God by himself at a park by a prison? Is that I couldn't believe. I was like, this woman is insane. And then they never explain it. Just this other blonde woman just runs up like, "Hi, Trevor." You know, I'm just like, oh, look. Well, that's fucking convenient. Okay. Yeah. Basically the only thing that happened, like, this is boring me. I don't know why it's whatever. Basically, the only thing we can say is that Chelsea's like, by the way, when I went to like meet him, I realized he's has a whole ass hearing aid. This MFer this entire time has been like, whatever, hearing impaired, and then like never bothered to tell me when, like, God bless, I'm like deaf. So like at one point she was like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, well, it never came up. And that is the most like, I just like, it never came up as you learned a whole ass sign language because this lovely lady you're talking to has a hearing impairment or whatever. I don't know, is differently abled hearing wise. You never were like, oh, cool. Just, also me too. Like, guys are so weird. Like, right?
I mean, I guess I'm just like, I've decided that any man who would do that, I have to let go. Like yesterday, I was yesterday. I have
do what? Forget to tell you something?
If they negated to tell me something that was relevant to conversations in which he and I have had several times. Another thing is if a guy doesn't laugh at my jokes, I have to let you go. And you get 3 chances. And if you don't laugh at 3 jokes in a row, I can't talk to you. Like you something is wrong with you. You're one of these people who like doesn't like it when women tell jokes and has or like is dumb and doesn't get the joke.
Yeah, a
So
lot.
like I have to let you go. And it's like sad that we live in a world in which like I mean, those of you who are listening to this, I'm funny and you know that I can't help but like tell a joke, even if it's inappropriate, even if I'm at work. HR. I mean, I'd stop myself at work, but I often say out loud, I have a joke that I didn't say just now. Because then they're like, oh. But anyways, like I can't be with somebody. So the fact that Mikey never told her and then he says it's because you never asked, is she supposed to ask, hey, I'm deaf. Are you as well? Or hard of hearing? Was that supposed to be
things? Like,
yeah, so like she's like, I know Mikey couldn't hurt a fly, and she's like, I'm so in love with him, and I'm so happy. And then her son asks if Mikey is gonna be his dad, and she's like, I can't answer that question. And I said, oh, Trevor, that man is not there for you. That man is there for her. And then she's gonna say that my son has never had a father figure. And I said, so you mean a man who has a rap sheet longer than your arm is gonna be that father figure for your child? Your child does have a father figure, his peepaw or his pawpaw or whatever, your father. Like that's his father figure. Stop. I hate when women say things like that, like, oh, that this person doesn't have a father figure. If there is an uncle or a really good best friend or like any man in their life, that is their figure. That is their male figure. And just like let everybody know that that's what's up. But like, yeah, she's really about herself, and it's unfortunate. I know she loves her child, and I think 2 things can be true: that there are women out there who love their children boots the house down, but having a partner is always going to be mildly more important to them because that is what they need to survive. And I think that Jessica is the same way too. Is that her name? Jessica and Dustin? Yeah. I think she's the same way too. Like if there are just people in this world who will move heaven and earth to have a partner, and they will feel like my kids will be fine. They don't need me, but I need this other person. And I think that's what Chelsea is. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I mean, really, Chris, this woman took her son to a drive-in movie in the daytime. You can't see the screen in the daytime. Drive-in movies are for nighttime.
Also, what that car, because they like, I kept looking and their car was like very, very stained, especially like where the heads go on the car. And I like shuddered. Because like we're I don't really think about the people's cars, but then sometimes because of like the advent of Uber, I've had to like think about how other like when I see other people's cars, it's like I pay attention to it because I'm like therefore like putting myself in there and thinking if I had ordered an Uber over an Uber Comfort and what my experience would be if I was sitting there. And to me, Chelsea's car looks very smelly. Oh, it looks smelly, and like so when she went to the drive, what?
She smokes in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she does smoke. Also, speaking of Jessica, we can go right into her. Jessica was also smoking this episode too. Not the word the smoking police, but For some reason,
Nasty.
because you rarely see it on TV anymore, like it's like obviously like we're children of a yesteryear where smoking on TV wasn't like the weirdest thing ever, but now it is like it kind of is, and so every time I see it, it like pops out at me. But also the same thing in real life. If I'm not in Vegas or in Europe, if someone's smoking, it's always a moment of me momently like just clocking it, judging
Yeah.
it, whatever. Maybe yes, maybe no, depending on where it is in life. If like sometimes I judge only if it's like, oh, you're gonna be in your car with the windows rolled up, smoking a cigarette. Like to me, I'm just like, ooh, woo, it's just, it's like, how do you do it? But anyway, well,
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like when I moved to New York City and I saw so many people smoking, I was like, "Oh, this is weird." Like in LA, people aren't out on the street smoking, and if they are, they're like in an alley and they're like usually young and like comics or something. But they're not like on the street. They're in the back of the alley. Like it's such a weird thing, but like in California for sure. And then like, as I traveled through the Midwest, like people were smoking in bars. I'm right now in the Rio and people are just like downstairs smoking in Vegas. And I'm just like, what? It's just such an interesting thing that when you don't see it and then you see it, you're like, oh. But anyway, so that's really the end. She had some bags of popcorn and like, I don't know, like a McDonald's cup of water for her son. I mean, it's just like it was the weirdest end of a story. What was the blurb on it? Did you get a blurb?
yeah, it's basically like he gets out January of 2023, which is tomorrow. Very soon. And then that pro bono case is happening, whether he's going to sue the people for the stroke thing or whatever, but that's all we know.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Next couple is Mark and Censere, which like really, it's really Mark and Alicia was so what is her name? Alexius?
At
Like
one point he calls her Lexi, and then suddenly it's like, it's Alexi or Aloysius. I don't even know my fucking name. But anyways, we never hear Sincere again. So just so you know, it's like funny because this really could be called Mark because like they give us nothing about Sincere. We don't know if she's talking to anyone else. We know that she has more years. Did she, a final comment? Nothing. No. So we still have Mark and his stupid ass mom who's like along for the ride. And now it's his 30th birthday. And he's at some Italian restaurant, like in a strip mall. And all we're getting is this like ice fountain of his 30th birthday. And at some point, someone pours vodka down one chute and the ice goes right into his mouth. And then we get another one of his like, yeah, my life's going great. I make more money than anyone in the world. So it's like money for my age. It's like he's like, it's so crazy. He has such confidence of where he is in life, and his whole ass horrible life is displayed on TV where he makes the dumbest, weirdest like choice. It's like the choices in how you live your life is so truly disgusting and atrocious that nothing that you have would ever make me envious of you. I don't care how much money you have. The way you spend it is horrible. You don't spend it. You want to like your whole life of spending money or creating wealth is just to then like give $20 to like a poor desperate lady who's in prison who has to like talk to someone and it's you and you don't have to take them out on dates. Oh God, it's disgusting. He's so gross. His mom, I just want to like be like, you've really like made a monster for the human race, and especially because I guess he's heterosexual, a horrible detriment to girls too. Like I think the mom should be like put on trial. I mean, I really do.
like like he's like, yeah, I'm really happy for like where I am at 30, and I'm sad that my mom, it just keeps telling me to like I should get with normal girls, but like I really like being with prison women because I feel like I'm giving somebody who has less than me an opportunity to grow and be in a better place. And I'm like, what a white savior complex. Also, like all the women who chose his sperm, something is wrong with them. Like, was he just a cute baby? Because his mother is evident that as his genetic trait or his family lineage ages, there is a transparency that happens to one's skin. There is a losing of features because that mother looks like she, in her confessional, I did like her little barrette that she had on her hair, like to keep her hair up. But like in that confessional, I just was like, she's what Libby would look like if Libby didn't wear any makeup, right? It's like just that like no features, just give me a little bit of shading underneath your eye, give me a little brown liner, give me a little mascara, give me something so that I see that you're not just like a blank canvas of like a mannequin, like a form in the a form. It's like she looks unfinished. You know what I'm saying? It just looks like she has no defining features. She doesn't
Yes.
quite look like Jessica and Maurice, where Jessica looks like she's a mud person who doesn't have any features, and I wouldn't be able to pick her up out of the lineup. But like, she looks almost as bad, and like Mark and his children are going to have that same like situation. A PS, I would just like to say that like I'm at in Vegas at the Rio, and there is some kind of cowboy convention, and there are cowboy hats and giant belt buckles and boots as far as the eye can see. And I saw a fabulous woman today, and I had to fucking tell her, like, this bitch came out with like leather fringe, all black, sleek, with a cowboy hat. And I thought about it because I'm thinking about white women. She was white, obviously, and I said, this badass bitch. I literally was like, Mom. I didn't say mom. I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you. You look fabulous. And she was like, thank you. And I just was like, so I'm like, when I see someone who looks like Mark's mom, and I see this badass fringed bitch that I saw downstairs in the casino, I'm like, what is happening?
I'll tell you a couple things. Yes, I agree with you. I want to say one thing. I completely agree that Mark has this white savior complex, but it's all a fucking ruse because his real deal is this. Yeah, I just really want to like get a woman, like see her turn her life around. But really what he wants is like a horny, bisexual would be better woman who has high testosterone. Like he is literally just trying to find a woman that's going to like have sex with him and whoever. Like all his questions leads to a breeding fetish and or sex questions. Everything's about me putting a baby in you or using sperm or do you hook up with women? It's all that. So I don't believe you being like, we're trying to like revamp some lives here. Also, I agree with Wall. This is the thing I think that Mark's mom is pretty. I'll tell you what happened. There's some styling choices. Some white women, as they age, get into the 80s blonde, white hair, fried look, and they can't get out of it. It's their natural hair, and it's been bleached so much the texture is bad, and the color itself washes them out, okay? Washes them out. So what you're seeing is Mark's mom, who has like her like too white hair, like too, it's like whatever, just it should be toned in such a way that kind of like gives her a more natural finish with like some highlights and stuff, like some dimensions, really to like, because the dimensions and the low lights will act against features of her face and bring it out more. Yes, so that's what's happening there. But I want to say I think that Mark's mom is pretty, and so unfortunately I also think that Mark was probably a very cute child who on his sperm donation is a picture of Mark's cute child, and Mark's talking himself up. Honey, engineer, multi-millionaire, boobity boo, smart as fuck, Vincent, the boobity boo, and that fate, like that's what he's putting on his. So all these girls are like, okay, I'll take that smart, rich kid, without looking like, yeah, he's a nightmare monster to women, and his mom is just like, cute, look what I made, I guess. Hey, why don't you talk to that girl in real life, that Asian girl over there that seems to be giving you attention? He's like, no. But I will gather a motley crew of my friends who I feel like all these people are paid to be here. None of these people know this person in real life. There are just like old people, young people. None of them, there's not one person that looks like they know anyone else there. It looks like extras, okay? And they're just like suddenly singing him happy birthday and like recording him. And he's like, I just want to say, for my 30th birthday, my present is the thing I already got, which is I'm going to FaceTime Lexi and ask her to be my girlfriend. And this woman who's in prison, who's going to get out in, I think, February, is going to be like, sure. Every time we see Lexi, first of all, I know her name. Second thing is, every time we see her, it's a completely different picture. One picture, they keep showing her.
Your camera's off. I mean, your mic is off. So it is the most hilarious thing watching you mime this. Literally, you're like, and you go to pick up your mic and you turn it off, and then all of a sudden it's like, and I'm like dying because I like can't figure out how to put my shit on so that I can tell you that your mic is off.
No, I picked it up and
Patreon, you saw the best thing. Also, like my Wi-Fi is terrible, so your sound keeps going in and out for me. But like, whoo, that was hilarious. I just couldn't get myself back on camera fast enough. I should have just let you continue to go. Okay, I'm leaving again.
No, it's fine. Okay, let's move on. Whatever. That's whatever. So yeah, basically that's just they're dumb. Okay, he's dumb. He's just like he gets Lexi to say that they're gonna be in a relationship. She gets out soon. That's what's great for him. He's turning 30. I'll never want to see him again, honey. I mean, like the thought of more Mark, honey, means like less breath in my life. Anything else about them?
No, let's move on to Melissa and Louie.
Louie.
Oh
Well,
my god. We find something very interesting about Louie.
Louis' pick also looks a little bit like Dory's pick. Why does it look like a
Photoshop.
weird TikTok filter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got Melissa and she's hanging out with her dad on the pier or something. And is it not me or did her dad look like I was like, oh, he's like 80. I mean, he might not be, but I was like, oh, he's older than I expected him to be.
She's
And
not young. She's young. She's older than us. She's like four. She's
no, she's our age.
no, she's older than us.
Oh, okay. So then she talks, she's like, yeah, dad, I feel like Donna's like you, she's like, I don't know.
Controlling Italian.
I love it. Controlling Italian. So the dad is like, she's like, let me call her. So she like high school three-way calls Donna basically with her dad in tow and doesn't
Mhm.
tell Donna at all that her dad is there until her dad just starts talking.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
Donna's like, who the hell is that? And she's like, oh, it's my father. It's my dad. And then Donna's like, listen, I have been on this long ass road for 10 years with my son and I'm going to pick him up and I'm going to be there with him. Like, you are not going to be there. I don't think it's a good idea. And Melissa's like, you don't think that Louis would want me there? And here's the truth. I'm on Donna's side because here's why. If you have spent the last 10 years stressing out about your child and their drug addiction and doing everything that you could to ensure that they were fine, and then in the last fucking 6 months or 9 months of their life, they meet some little skinny bitch. And all of a sudden, that little skinny bitch is in your house asking you questions, talking about how much she loves your son, and all you can think about is like, I have been through the trenches with him. I'm going to get to see the fruits of my labor. Literally, I would love to just be with my son for a couple of years and really usher him through the sobriety. And that will help me feel like the last 10 years weren't a waste of my time. I didn't do all this so that he could just ride off into the sunset with some woman and reap the benefits of everything that I wrought. Now, I understand that it's very, very selfish and that it is like, it shouldn't be the way, and it shouldn't be that way. And we're not considering Louis' feelings in this at all. You're only considering your own feelings. But I understand Donna's point of view. It's like, no, just let me have some time with him. You just got here.
Also, I don't like you, and I want to spend more time with you, and I want to be comfortable, and I want to like see my son and not have to worry about you kissing. Like, it's like the thing about the first time seeing someone and you're with someone else. It's like, so the first, like, who's gonna run up first? Who's gonna like kiss first? Is he gonna be like making out with her the whole time while like, she's there? Like, it's just I don't know. I get it. She's not, it's though very interesting and different from Justine's situation. We see how like different dynamics. So her dad's like, I think my daughter should go. And she's like,
Yeah.
Great, not your decision. So don't care about your opinion. And then so Melissa has to like sort of dance this line of being like, I'm trying to be really sweet to his mom, so like we have a good relationship, but also like, tell him like I want to go. So we think about it, but can I go? And it's interesting because in my mind I'm like, oh, you've already lost, Melissa. Like the minute that you went to the yoga place and he told his mom that you had gone to Roku or whatever, I forgot. Roku is a streaming service. I forgot what the name, honey, whatever that yoga teacher's name. I've never.
Is what you're talking about?
Rutu? Yeah, like the mom knows about that, right? Like I feel like the mom heard about that. And that Melissa, you gotta like move on. But basically, yeah, like
she's gonna go anyway. And her father says, I think you should go. And I think they're not taking into consideration Donna's feelings. And the difference between, I think, Justine or Michael and his mother and Donna and Louis is that Louis is like not taking care of his mother. He's been a
Mhm.
drug addict.
Mhm.
Like Mike went to prison to probably, he was taking care of his family most likely, and he is not a drug addict. And while he broke everybody's heart for going to prison, like they all know why, because he was fucking selling drugs and shit. Whereas Louis has been like a not a thorn in his mother's side, but one of the things that always stresses me out about like having kids, and one of the things I always thought about it when I was trying to, is that what if they fucking become drug addicts?
Mhm.
Like what I'm ill prepared and to do that in a healthy manner. Like I either would hover over them or I would just like let them go. I'd be like Matt's mom and just be like, well, chose the drugs, can't come into this house anymore. Like I couldn't emotionally go through that, because I would feel like I'd done the best that I could, and I would have warned them about drugs, and if they got addicted to something, or
Yeah.
I'm not equipped for it. So it's a very hard world. And for those parents out there who have to deal with that, like, God bless, it's difficult. And so I want to have a little bit more sympathy for Donna than I think Melissa understands. I get it. We have to let Louis live his life or whatever, but like Louis lived his life and he failed the first time.
Oof.
So like let's his mother is trying to make sure that doesn't happen again, because I know she probably can't go through it again. And if
Uh,
Melissa isn't going to truly be prepared to do all the things in the way that Donna would want her to do, I think she wouldn't feel comfortable with
I'll
it.
tell you what also failed, the dentistry that happens in jail, because they have a little teaser where Melissa's like, "So when Louis talks, he kind of talks without talking, without moving, without showing his teeth because he has no teeth." And they have then a picture of like Louis, like who had four teeth, honey, in the front of his mouth that were doing their own things, and then was like basically like, yeah, like, and I think I've heard this before in jail, like the dentistry situation is like, if you have a problem, I'll solve it, I'll just pull it out. So like that's how they deal with, like, if you, by the way, I just had like three cavities and it really stunk. I had to go get like fillings and it was like sucky. But yeah, I guess it's like if you have cavities, they're not going to like pay money to fill them, maybe, or they'll just pull them out. So he doesn't have a lot of teeth, and it like I'm sure like yeah, affects the way he talks and affects the way he feels about himself, and I'm sure the way he
Yeah.
presents himself. Um so
It
basically, let me
also
tell you
could
this.
be
So
from drug
oh
usage too. It might be from drug usage.
yes, totally, totally.
Yeah. So like it's also she's like, I don't think I could kiss him with dentures, and I'm like, I don't. How can you kiss him without? Just like licking on gums.
Well, I think what she said was like, I don't want to go to bed at night thinking that my husband's teeth are by like on the nightstand. And I'm like, but so you just want to like, you just don't want him to have teeth?
Yeah.
The option is teeth or no teeth. You're picking no teeth?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. I did get a little of tea because I listened to first of all, if you guys are not listening to Pink Shade with Aaron and Mary Payne, you really should. I heard on their podcast from them, which yeah, I find them to be credible sources, that somebody from their like viewership, the Pink Shade's viewership, um, they live in the neighborhood in which Melissa is a male person, and they got a picture with Melissa, and they got an update from Melissa that Melissa and Louis are trying to get into the next season, or they're still talking with producers and stuff. So we may or may not see them next time. Maybe, I don't know if it's the next season or the season after, but they would be candidates for Love After Lockup for sure. So they're still together. They're called Bunkies. That's what Mary Payne and Aaron's group of people are called. So, yeah. So Bunky found that out and sent a picture, and so I just wanted to give our people that update. If you guys didn't
I
know that.
love it. Yeah, so I can feel that because the update they gave us at the end is basically that they're still together and they are planning on, she's going to go to Georgia, it says, like, so it's obviously not with his mom, like she's going to go on her own accord. It seems like, like a couple weeks after he's out, she's going to let him like, deal his life, and that they're going to make their debut at their high school reunion, which I'm guessing is their 30-year high school reunion, right? 35, 25? Okay.
I mean, I don't. What year did I graduate? That year. It's this year. I mean, yeah. I think it's 20th, girl. I'm telling you, they're our age. I mean, even though my 20th anniversary,
Melissa
like
is
high
not
school.
I okay, fine. Okay, fine. I just cannot I will not. Melissa's not our age. Melissa's not our age. You talk while I look it up. You talk while I look it up.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I saw those pictures of her and she's like definitely graduated in like 2000, 2001 or whatever, 2002. Like she's within that age range. So I would have had my 20th high school reunion in 2020 because I'm class of 2000. Um, so yeah, I mean, listen, all the best for them. Let me move on while you look for that. So let's move on to Ty and Hottie, which it isn't even Ty and Hottie anymore. It's just Ty and all of her shenanigans. This girl, she says that after being with or after Hottie his betrayal, she's really, really just like not the same. And I'm like, how you talk to so many guys? Like, how did this one person like just disrupt your world like this? Um, and so she and her friend go to a cemetery to do some like mahika, some like black magic and whatnot. Chris, you have an update? You're on mute. There you
Hello?
go. Yeah.
I didn't touch this. Okay, my microphone is having a life of its own. So yes, for some reason she's cosplaying as our age, but I mean,
So wait, how old is she? How old is she?
it says she's 39 in 2022.
Great, thank you. So
Boy, do I look good.
yeah, so Ty's at the cemetery with her homegirl, and whose home the homegirl's wig is laid.
Mhm.
Okay, that is a whatever that I don't know body wavy. I don't know about wigs. I'm be honest with you, but that wig is laid. Okay, and they get out, and it's raining, so it's very like what I would consider like Louisiana, like in rainy cemetery weather. And they put out some kind of blanket and they start like manifestation or whatever. Now, here's my thing every single time I have been underneath an umbrella, I still get wet. Now, it may not be at the direct top of my head, but it's definitely like around me, right? Like the side, my back, like whatever is wet. So I don't understand how these two are sitting here on this blanket and not soaked from the bottom up. And
Sorry,
then
go
at
on.
some point, the friend just holds one umbrella. And then you know when you have an umbrella, like the water cascading off the sides, that is what's wetting you. So it's like how is it that the blanket isn't all wet, everything they have isn't all wet? What kind of weather, what kind of rain is this? Is it warm rain? It looks like it is. But like it's just very, very annoying to me because I get very frustrated with rain when I'm still wet after having a large umbrella. Chris?
It's one of those like it's a weird scene because well, lots of things are in a cemetery about to do some weird ritual to like either manifest a man or a baby or both into Ty's life. But yeah, it's rainy and sunny and there's a rainbow. It's like some things it is pouring down rain on them, yet behind them is full sun. So it almost feels like and they keep cutting back and forth and the rain is so powerfully falling on them and yet it is so sunny and at behind them that it sometimes looks like just above them if they had widened the shot we would see just like different PAs just like spraying them down like
Yeah.
right above only their heads,
Yeah.
like but yeah, so we knew that she was doing this weird ass ritual in the fucking cemetery because they had that fake fight with her daughter before or whatever. God bless.
Yeah.
And
And yeah, so
Marquise calls.
Marquise calls, and so they're like, "Ooh, he called right at the right time. That means that he's the one for you." And then when the friend tries to put the baby clothes away, she's like, "Don't do that. Don't mess up my manifestation." And then she's like, "Baby, it's a rainbow." And then Marquise is like, "Oh, what you think at the end of it?" And I was like, "This is if I ever said, 'Oh my God, there's a really pretty rainbow,' and a man were to his response to me be like, 'What's at the end of it?' I'm like, nothing, jackass. I'm not a kid. I don't believe in leprechauns and shit." Like, what? Just pretty. It's just a pretty, nature phenomenon. Stop with the, nonsense.
It's romantic. He wanted to be like, yeah, he wanted to be like, well, there's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow.
I mean, it's just like, That's not even like, can we give the Irish people back their culture? Is that cultural appropriation? Listen, I stand with the Green Isle, okay? I stand with the Irish folk taking back their rituals, and I'm not, I feel like they were culturally appropriating, that sentiment. So there's that. But yeah, the baby clothes, and also then when Marquise calls, she sits on somebody's tombstone. I said, if she doesn't get her black ass off of that person's tombstone, stand the fuck up and do something. I'm sure there's a ledge or something. She literally sat on a tombstone.
I love Ty. No, like first, it's like there's gonna every scene has horrible acting and horrible like sketch work or whatever. And I will thank Ty because for some of them are just done in a weird and charming way. And Ty, I feel like Ty gives me the feeling that she sat with producers and they gave her dumb ideas and she's like, well, okay, well, is that what you want me to do? Let me see if I can make it better and give him a little Ty. And then Ty would just like one up them. I don't know. She just feels like her segments were just adorable. But yeah, basically what's happened since filming is that Hottie still tries to hit her up. And we don't even know what's happening with Boston. We can assume that he's still talking to Boston. I mean, last we heard Boston and him were together. Like Boston was like, cool, you're out now, good, because we're both engaged and you're done. Cool. So whatever. We don't even know if that's happening that. And I would like to know. Bernstein Bear bitch. And that Ty is dating a man in real life. And we see him who's like a rather big guy. Like she pushes him on the bed. She's like gonna get up on him, but it was also still, talking to jail people. Well.
Oh yeah, I didn't see all that. The last thing I saw was them sitting on her sitting on the tombstone.
Okay.
Um, so Justine and Dustin, or Jessica and Dustin, sorry. She's a fool for him, and this was really embarrassing for me to watch. And it was embarrassing for me to see her cry. And it was embarrassing for me to see her daughter go and hug her and tell her everything is going to be okay. And she really feels like, she's in love with him. And so unfortunately, that was one of the clearest things that she said at the end of her segment, was that because I feel the way I feel, I think that he's the love of my life. And so with that, I'm like, okay, she understands that it's crazy. But because she can't help the way she feels, this is why she's on this path. So she's got to see it to fruition, or else she's going to feel like, there's nothing, that she gave up on something. And she also says there's nothing for her in Florida. She wants a new life. So something's happened to Jessica that we're not aware of. Something happened to her, and was sparked this descent into madness.
Midlife crisis. I feel like she had a full fucking midlife crisis. She just blew up. She wants to blow up everything and start anew. She wants to burn the whole thing down and like career gone, area that you've known gone, like your friends that you have there don't need them, there's something that can happen. Yeah, you get swept away with the ideas of the things that is going to give your life purpose, whether that thing is a career or whether that thing you have labeled as or you're the person that is the love of your life. Because it's like saying someone is the love of your life gives you the justification to do whatever it takes for you to be with that person. Because it's like, that romanticized idea is, well, this is the person for me. There's going to be no other one for me. This is the person that was sort of ordained for me. It feels divine that this person and me know each other. And so what am I supposed to do but follow the divinity of this, or whatever, I'm using the divinity wrong, what am I supposed to do but cosmically not follow what feels like my predestined soulmate? You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you put that label on someone, it would be very hard to then just be like, but I'm turning my back on him because he's an addict and I just can't, ruin my life. So, but I'll always know that he's my soulmate, just dying, somewhere in a different state. I never talked to him. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she's pacing and moving, her daughter is like still there. She's like, well, we have to like move soon, and the girl's like, I don't feel like this is real. This scene with her daughter doesn't feel real either, nor did this whole season. Like, I don't like this. I hate every scene with her daughter because it feels stiff, it feels fake, but at the same time, it also feels like real, like she's actually doing this. So, I mean, there is no comfort to be had. We're just like watching this person. It's like you know what it is? I never liked watching intervention. I don't like watching people hurt themselves. I can't watch someone do like intravenous drugs or something. Like it's not like, it like makes me like, ooh, and it kind of in the same way, I cannot just sit there and watch like a 5-minute scene of this woman be like, well, bye, daughter, that I should be taking care of, that is, not fully formed as a human, but I'm going to leave you. And her idea is like, well, I've always had my daughter, like, but it's like, well, has your daughter always had you? The fact that your whole thing is like, why would you want to live with your dad? Like, you're not going to have it as great as like doing whatever you want with me. It's like, because it seems like someone here should have a goddamn structure and like grounded truth where we talk about like how do you live your life and how are choices affecting that. And I don't think that you as a parent is the good one, is the better one. I'm so happy she's staying with her dad. I don't know who her dad is, but it just seems like maybe it's a little more stable. The fact that she chooses so easily her dad, even in the face of her dad having a little more structure, I think speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Speaks volumes. Dustin
really, really
calls, by the way, while they're packing after all this. And it's like, by the way, just so you know, if you're thinking you're making a bad decision, just so you know, Dustin has even more time now because, he used. So he's going to have even more time in a sense. So yeah, go ahead and move to a place that he's never going to come out of. And yeah, uproot your whole life to move to where he is. He's never going to be out of it.
Yeah, and then she starts boo-hooing. I mean, just like what did I do to deserve this? And I just keep thinking, you are picking probably one of the worst scenarios to put yourself in. Like, not
You're
only is
picking
your
every day. You chose every day to deserve this. You're choosing every day to deserve this.
Yeah, like you're not choosing somebody who like it was fine and now is like having a mental like a physical ailment or has cancer, something like that, like where you're just like, wow, this is completely out of my control, like I love this person and everything is normal and this wild thing happened. Like, no, you pick somebody who's already in a kind of crazy place, and then you find out that they have an addiction to drugs and you were just like already had the tattoo on your belly, so you felt like you needed to go forward, and then like now you realize that they're going to get even more time and you aren't able to let it go.
Cut your losses.
Yeah.
There is in business the time in which you have to cut your losses, because if you don't, you are anchoring yourself to a sinking ship. And it takes the ability to be like, I failed, this failed, or I was wrong, because, and it's a shitty thing to have to think about that. And the pride of being like, all right, this venture failed. I bought this thing, like, let's just say this was an investment, or let's just say you bought a house and you thought it was going to do really well. And in 10 years' time, there's a pandemic and the real estate market breaks through. And the house that you bought that was $1 million, honey, is now 500,000. And you're just like, oh God, but do I stay with the house and try and build it up? And it's $1 million house. I bought it for $1 million. I thought it'd be great. Or do I sell it at 500,000 and just fucking move on with my life? And the thought is, if I don't sell it for 500,000, move on with my life, that in 2 years it's actually going to be 200,000, and I would have just like lost even more, And it's a shitty moment to try and decide when to cut your losses and run. And it feels like we're seeing Jessica go all in. I'll just move to a different metaphor, on a poker hand where she has nothing and the house has like a full fucking suit brush. Oh God, what do you call it? Straight? A straight.
Flush.
The house has a straight, honey, of nothing. You've had nothing. You've had one jack. You had one jack, honey, okay? It was a jack of spades. And you thought you were going to get a couple of jacks, maybe some kings. You didn't.
Like, she could move to Tennessee and get the new life she wants. It would just have to be without Dustin. And that's the thing that I was like, why are you not okay just moving to Tennessee by yourself and figuring it out? Like, get on them dating apps, find you a nice person. Tennessee is beautiful. And
Tennessee.
when I was there, folks were really nice,
Tennessee. You're right. No,
so
I mean,
like,
yeah, blended eyeshadow. Uh-huh.
yeah, just go over there and like start a new life. Like do the thing, but you don't have to do it with a young guy who spent most of his life in and out of prison who has a drug addiction. That doesn't sound like fun to me.
Yeah. Basically, the follow-up of her is that she moved to Tennessee, where in fact she had that house, so we kinda knew she had to because she would have, like, lost money on a house, and she was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna double down, I'm gonna," more poker references. That's because obviously was in Vegas, and so that's what's happening, it's a theme. She's like, "I'm gonna go ahead and get another tattoo of his name."
Oh my god.
That's what happened, she got another tattoo, and it's like, I don't know why I call it tats too, but it's two tats, it's tats two. It's the second tat. That's basically it for them. And that's the end of the saison, honey. What is saison?
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna get more like Sean and Sarah because I'm looking at his dumb face. Because I'm like just looking at his dumb face right now.
Mm-hmm,
I'm like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She does it a
are we
lot.
gonna are we gonna
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
are we gonna get more? Like who are we gonna get next episode? That's what I wonder. Because I haven't done any research on it. But that would be interesting. Maybe I should do the research now. Let's see.
Okay. By the way, I just side note, think it's so funny that, and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, Emily and Dory are still together. She still hasn't visited him." Emily and Dory, remember them? Emily and Dory, yeah, they're still together. She doesn't visit him. Period. The end. We don't know anything about Smoke. We don't know anything about Pipsqueak. We don't care. Like just the way that they didn't give us certain ideas. Like I think it's crazy that we don't know what happened with Sensoray. I think like she was one of the people that was a couple. Even if you're gonna go follow Mark, you're not gonna at least one sentence. Sensoray wishes she never talked to Mark. I mean, it could have been anything. And also Boston and Hottie. I'm just like, but they're together. You have to either tell us that they're together or not together. At least you have to.
Oh look, the Jeweler and the Thief is the title of Love After Lockup season 4. Let me go to that one. Let's see what that is. Jeweler and the Thief, season 4, episode 31.
Okay.
Let me in. Why won't it let me click it? Mm.
My loves, can you believe it? Another beautiful season done in the heartache and triumphs of people finding love in and out of prison, and or people finding love. I mean, that's like what's so interesting is because your girls do 90 Day Fiance, so there's some similar themes of people wanting love and wanting companionship and on the quest for that and opening up the horizons of the dating pools in which you choose, so beyond Hinge, I feel like is Matt Sharp's beyond Hinge is like Matt Sharp's thing. Other than that, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We are DocuSweeties on Instagram, DocuSweeties1, and on TikTok and Twitter. Do you have any other updates for us before I gave that information? Well, I didn't give that information, but do you have any more updates for us?
No, I'm really bad at research. So like I don't know how to Google, and I know that sounds stupid to say, but I really don't. So it's not giving me the information.
That's fine because you learned Audacity for us. So truly you're doing the Lord's work. But I do feel like I need you to play a little Buffalo Gold. You got to see them Russian Buffalo. You got to see them Buffalo and Stampede, honey.
I'll try. It only tells me just Justine. Because it's hard to search like season 4. It's like because it's all the run-on cat. Like it's just like so dumb. I'm sure somebody. Wait, season 4. It says, oh, Indy and Harry, Tiffany and Kevin, Taylor and Chance, Rick and Radine, and Martell and Kayla. I don't know who those people are. I think that's old.
Okay, like obviously know who Chance and Taylor is. Like, okay. Okay. Also, as Was stated, because you can see me and not her, and also at one point my mic went out. We are broadcasting on Patreon. Not. So, if you would like to see the visual of me when my mic went out, that would be on patreon.com/ what is it called again, Wa?
DocuSweeties, patreon.com/DocuSweeties. So you can join us for $10 a month. You can see the visuals of what you are listening to with your ears and some extra stuff that we do. We have a live session with the gals every first Monday of the month. And we're going to be adding more stuff in 2023 as our lives kind of equal out and we get past the holidays. So do that so you can get that insider bit of information.
Great. And obviously, more Harry and Meghan coming out. That's already there, but episode 2 and 3 on the way, as well as 90 Day HEA, which comes out Sunday. So happy holidays, honey. Days, especially if you want to just go into a reality coma, you can. A lot of
Wait,
happening.
who's Harry and Meghan?
Oh, Harry and Meghan, it's the docuseries we're talking about on
Whoa.
Netflix. Oh,
I
have
thought
you
we
heard
were
of a
still
Meghan?
talking
Have
about.
you heard of Meghan actually Markle? I wanted
Yeah,
to call
that's
her
what it
that.
sounded
Meghan
like.
actually Markle?
Because there's a Harry and Indy, right? And then there's a Meghan, not Markle, and Mike. So like, my mind just like blew up, and I was like, Harry and Mike, Harry and Meghan, Harry and Meghan. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? And I had to ask it. Okay, great. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you in our next episode. So be on the lookout. Okay. Bye.
Bye.